Hey guys, welcome back. We have a Season 3 and Season 3 Reloaded review here, delivered by yours truly, Mercenary Assassins Gaming. Now, this review is going to be completely in-depth from a player's perspective. I'm not going to, as I don't do, speak upon content that I actually not have experience for myself, like half of these YouTubers and streamers. I'm going to talk about it from a player's perspective who actually engages in the game, who has tried through trial and error some of the released features, my takes upon it, and how they work and operate within current time, not upon someone else's theoretical evidence or a Twitter post or something along that nature. Now, we have a lot of content here that we want to talk about today with the new Season 3 and the Reloaded update. I was going to speak about Season 3 without the Verdansk drop, but I decided to wait to the Reloaded to see if they ironed out some features so that way I could see what was the same or if they were going to make any additional features, because it seems that from here on out, this is what's going to be the standard for the rest of the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 title life. Feel that they have done a lot with Verdansk and its re-release, and I don't believe that Activision and Treyarch are going to do much more in terms of quality of life improvements, maps, and things of that nature from this point going forward. So this is a very big update, I feel, for the community, and we do need to have this addressed. That being said, I'm working on the timestamp so that way you can be able to see everything for yourself. If you do happen to like some of our content, please like, share, subscribe, and give us a shout out if you're also a YouTuber and like some of the things that we have mentioned. I notice a lot of guys now are starting to pick up on some of the topics that we hear first. So if you hear from them, you can always know who delivered that first by checking out the release dates of the videos that we have dropped here. You said, let's get into it. Topic 1, the movement. So the movement to me still feels about the same. I really don't actually notice much of a difference. I don't understand what the complaints are coming from a lot of creators. Activision said that what they've helped with the perceived optics of the changing and turning of while strafing, they've made that transition smoother. I actually agree. Not by much, but it is noticeable. So that definitely is a plus. The biggest issue that a lot of people are facing is the slide velocity. Now, well, just mentioning that they've improved the Omni movement polishing, while that does help a little bit, the slide velocity and it seems to be a big deal with a lot of people now. Me, it's not even really that noticeable. I mean, it does stop slide chaining from being as common. So I guess like a lot of the YY TikToker demons are pissed off for that regards. But again, Call of Duty with this new release is seeing that, hey, we've gave streamers a chance. We decide to want to play the way that they want to play. And the rest of the populace does not like that running around 100 miles an hour, sliding on your ass shit. It's not realistic for a shooter of an arena shooter type. It's not what Call of Duty historically has always been. So they're going back to Call of Duty in its original roots, and that's wonderful. I love that. So this nerf to the slide chaining and the slide velocity is actually a plus. Slower movement, more controlled gunfights, less running around, less Fortnite style of play. This is perfect. Now, I will say that they did make a promise to increase the mantling speeds, which they have not delivered on. And see, this is why it's important that as a content creator, you must play the game that you are reviewing, because you will miss certain details, like a lot of these other guys who just basically recycle the same shit with their own spin on it, going off of a Twitter post. That's not how game reviews are supposed to be done, right? The mantling speeds are still abhorrent. Very, very slow climbing from places still. They did say that it was going to be fixed, similar to what Modern Warfare 3 movement was, which was perfect. That has not been fixed. So with that being said, with the slide velocity being nerfed, thus also reducing slide chaining, and the Omni movement polishing, these are definitely a plus. However, the slow mantling speeds, I rate the movement for this update a 7. Onward to the next one, we'll speak about weapon balancing. Now, weapon balancing here, there's not really much that needs to be said. They just basically gave some of the ARs a slight buff. The damage is really not all that much the same. Some guns, I would say, like the Cypher, are kind of overpowered now. You know, they're like 5 shots kill any distance, especially with bullet velocity attachments. The ARs received a long overdue buff. Actually, some of them still need to be buffed still, such as the GPR, the XM, the AIMs could also use a nice buff. The SMGs have also received a great buff as well too. They have superior damage within the 10-meter distance. So the SMGs, of course, that being the staple of the modern Call of Duty, have become even more overpowered as ever within those short fighting range spaces. Now, for marksman rifles, they gave them a buff as well too, along with LMGs, but LMGs still are too slow and weak to be useful in any viable situation within this game, as well as the marksman rifles. Marksman rifles have such an appalling rate of fire, as well with an abnormally ridiculous level of visible recoil, that they're still useless. So even with the fact that most of them have gone up about 10-point damage per value per marksman rifle, you still wouldn't use them as a viable option. SMGs, of course, are still king in this game. They can outbeam an assault rifle within those close quarters. Even past that, for some reason, a lot of the assault rifles could still use an actual buff, because it's only really about 3 to 4 of them that are actually useful within any situation. For the weapons, they've also added the new HDR, a one-shot headshot at infinite range, which, why that ever was not a thing, I don't know, but they're starting to get back into that. Hopefully this game can be saved by continuing to make snipers of the proper lethality of which they are. Sniper rifles in all games historically have had one-shot headshot kill potential. Another thing with the weapon balancing, which is not surprising to me, they still have yet to do anything with the melee, the shotguns, or the shields. They are still weak. They are useless. Them aren't even in the game. However, with Reloaded, they reintroduced, again, the Reclaimer, and they've slightly buffed the shotguns, but they still are only useless within the 1-meter range, which is still not effective at all whatsoever. So essentially nothing has changed when it comes to the buffing of these 2 shotguns, or the buffing of one and the reintroduction of another. Melee is still useless, which I know it has been affecting a lot of the players for the return of Verdansk. They did a lot of nostalgia bait with this, and they failed to capture that because these people thought that the game was going to pick up being the same, when in fact it was not. It's not the same Verdansk, because the same play styles are not viable anymore. A lot of people on Verdansk or any of the Resurgence maps would use melee, shotguns, shields. Dragon Breath ammo was a very popular option for a lot of intermediate, even high-level players, clearing rooms as what a shotgun is intended to do. So I'm not certain as to why they destroyed these play styles within this game. We know the truth. They wanted to appease to the run and gun guys, the SMG guys only. They've seen that this has failed, and it seems like they are slowly introducing it, but are reluctant to. But it's too little and too late. The damage has been done. They haven't really truly nostalgia baited the right way. People back to this game think that it was going to be the same, and it actually, in fact, is not at all. The only thing that you can use are assault rifles and SMGs to be how you would say, able to perform decently within this game. And a lot of people want to play casually. A lot of people want to run around with other weapons, explore skins and blueprints that they have purchased for these. There is a blueprint for the melee, I think it's the Gorilla Fist, where you had to spend at least $80 to be able to purchase that item. And now a lot of people, amongst many other blueprints which have been lost, cannot be used. So it's a shame that a lot of people have spent this money to not even be able to use something for a play style, which they've purchased. So it's unfortunate. So outside of the weapons and the weapon balancing, they've recycled the HDR as mentioned, the kilo and the growl. However, they did the growl very, very sloppily by making an aftermarket conversion kit, nerfing the amount of aftermarket parts you can be able to apply towards the SWAT 556. So that's unfortunate. It actually also is very weak too. Strange recoil mitigation patterns, different from the one that was found and loved in the original Warzone. So there's that for the recycled content. In that regards, between the weapons, the weapon balancing for that, and the reloaded, then with the buffing of some Modern Warfare 2 weapons, which I won't even, speak about for very long because no one's going to use them. They're not meta. They're still not useful in any situation whatsoever, and we all know this. The weapon balancing gets a 3. It is very horrible. They still have nerfed and destroyed certain playstyles whatsoever. Only certain guns are viable in certain options, and the buff to certain weapons is just not only too little and too late, but not effective enough for it to compete within the current Warzone environment. We also introduced that they have the new Battle Royale Verdansk with the Battle Royale Casuals. So with this, the same algorithm-based matchmaking process applies. When you pick up a loot, the loot is AI generated. For some reason, when you go to a box, it'll keep continuously spawning that same type of weapon, which is something that a lot of content creators aren't talking about. Hence, again, why I say you need to actually play the game to see what player issues are actually dealing with. It's very frustrating. You'll go to a box and you will continuously get snipers. Then for some reason you will go to another box and then you'll get shotguns, and it will just keep going back and forth between this AI generated pool until eventually you happen to go into an orange one, and it tends to give you a weapon that's somewhat feasible for combat. This here is a big problem because if you do happen to die, or if you spawn in rough and you go to the gulag and then you come back, you're already behind the game. And because all they tend to do is issue you slow shooting LMGs, my apologies, sniper rifles with none of the optics and parts to make it useful, and pistols when everyone's already full loadouts, fully plated, it can be very, very annoying, very, very tedious to be able to recover, especially thinking it from the perspective of a casual. Not everyone who plays this game is a professional player who plays this for 8 hours a day. On that same note, I want to speak about casuals. Casuals are actually very, very, very fun. It has a system where there is 30 players and 120 of them are bots, actually, despite what people are saying with 128 players and there being only 22 actual players. This count is wrong. See, this again is where people are misreading information from Twitter sources and not actually really playing the game and recording and seeing it in live time to see how this functions. Even the website itself on the COD update page does say the same thing, to reiterate what I am saying. So you have about 15 less from a regular resurgence map. With the bots, when you spawn in, it allows for a good pacing. More towards the end, you will find regular players, and then you get to have a fun shootout mashup in the final circles. Even those casual players do enjoy this experience because there's sense of progression. You get to play the game long, and you get to the SBMM is off in this mode. There's no single skill-based matchmaking mode in this mode whatsoever, which is amazing because it shows that they can control this algorithm at will. And I mean, this is really the lifeline of Battle Royale and Warzone as a whole right now. They say SBMM is what's been keeping players on. Player counts as of last month, it actually shows that it's detriment to that. It's what keeps players away. Nobody wants to, based upon your algorithm-based matchmaking process, go against top 250 people because you feel that they need to lose for some sake of balance, right? Which would cause them to be angered and then want to play again, trying to goad them into keep playing for a win, thinking that this engages them using your algorithm. This is false. People don't care about higher skilled players. They just want to be able to enjoy the game, and a good mix, a good crowd, lets you show who the best man is, and the games are fair and evenly matched when done that way through skill-based matchmaking. But when you use an algorithm-based process and you're throwing fairly newbie players against top 50 players and they're guaranteed to lose, this is not an enjoyable experience for them whatsoever. So that being said, with the casuals, we do unfortunately will have some sweats farmed for content, thinking that they're hot shit with their TikTok clips fighting on some bots. And, you know, this could easily be nullified by what I would say using a kill-death ratio requirement or prerequisite to be able to join. Now, the average player actually isn't anywhere near a 1-to-1 kill-death ratio, despite what the masses think. You know, a lot of these content streamers, remind you, they play professionally, are 2.5 and up, right? Depending on what level of professional play that they are. The average player is averaging anywhere between 0.3 anywhere to about 0.75. So what would be fair is about a 0.80 kill death ratio for you to be able to participate in a true casual experience. Because anything higher than that, you got to understand that most people who have about a 1-to-1 or 1.25 or 1.5 or 2.0, these people place within Diamond 2 and up bracket, which is actually a very high percentage, despite what most people think. So trying to foster a casual environment for people and you have them going against literally the top 10% of the competition in the game, what do you think is going to happen? It's self-explanatory. That for the casuals and how the casual breaks down and what it's like to be able to experience that. Another thing about the Battle Royale and Battle Royale casuals is that the resources are scarce. They are going to work on fixing that. And with this, it's the reintroduction of tactical play. So that's one thing that I will give a positive in regards to that, is that, you know, it does force you to slow down the pace, take this less away from what they're trying to turn Call of Duty into the whole YY monster demon type of movement game, which it's not. It looks dumb. It's never been that way. And, you know, it's a woe day to the real OG guys who played it how it's supposed to be played. So with that being said, for the Battle Royale and the Battle Royale casuals and everything I listed, with the reintroduction of tactical gameplay, the scarce resources, the casuals being fun, however, you must watch out for the sweats who farm for content. And, you know, they'll usually be the typical guys with the level 1000 gamer tags, you know what I mean? Like, self-explanatory. And the algorithm-based matchmaking process with its AI-generated loot, making it impossible for people who first spawn or when they die trying to come back to find a decent weapon to defend themselves in game. We rate the Battle Royale as well as the Battle Royale casual experience a solid 6. We also want to speak about how they gave 2 free skins, you know, the regular Milsim skins for the introduction of Season 3. They were already there before. This gets a 0. Nothing special here. Should never have taken away in the first place. I don't understand that. Now for the Killstreaks. Let's talk about the Killstreaks. So with the Killstreaks, there's no more travel path for the airstrike, how it was previously, I would say, about Season 3, Modern Warfare 3, before they stopped that. Why that was a thing, I never understood. That was the dumbest thing that they ever did with the Killstreaks. They should never have done that in the first place. Because, you know, hey, you know, this isn't, like I said in previous video, Nazi Germany, where submarines have to come up and announce themselves. There's a war game, you earned a kill streak, you should be able to call in. And it's not even like they're not dodging it, dude. You know, you already get a warning in the first place. Plenty of time to run to cover. I mean, still now when I get airstrikes, when I call them, I'm not taking out every opponent that I have that settled. You know what I'm saying? So it's awesome. It forces people to move. I think it's great what they did to the airstrike, but at the same time, I can't give them credit for reintroducing the same content that they already have. Should just never have taken it away. Now they're bringing back the Bunker Buster, which they should never have done that in the first place with the Season 3 Reloaded. So more recycled content. However, they are taking away the gas for this too, which was like the biggest thing to force players out of the bunker, which is why you're busting the bunker. So that's just completely asinine to me. So I don't understand that. And the sentry gun is only getting damage range and 10 more seconds of lifetime. So with that being said, before Season 3 Reloaded came out, I actually was going to give the Killstreaks an 8. But because of the nerf to the Bunker Buster, making it practically useless other than the first missile impact strike, and the slight nonsensical buff to the sentry turret, which isn't really doing anything, I'm going to have to actually give this a 5. Because they have basically destroyed the kill streaks, and it's making it useless. So that's just dumb. Now the Buystation. So the Buystation, they've added the original features, the wall grid. I personally don't like it. I like the other one. The more modern feel made it easier to navigate for me, especially when it was wanting to purchase certain things. I feel like I have to go all the way through a loop to be able to purchase a kill streak, or to be able to get my, first aid kit when the buy zone is open for 50% off. Personally don't like it, but the fans do. So, again, this isn't about me. This is about the whole. And, that being said, they took away a very, very, very vital feature, and that's taking weapon purchases away from the Buystation. What the fuck is going on here? Why would they do that? I don't know. I can't tell you why. It's completely ridiculous. I don't know why they did that. And they also slightly reduced the price of some of the kill streaks as well too, which I guess can be okay. But the loadouts have dropped from 1500s in a full party in the quads down to 10 flat for every party size, which I don't understand. It was pretty cool the way it was. And it doesn't have a 50% off. However, now with Season 3 Reloaded, I think it goes down to about 6,000 once the 50% Buystation sale is there. So with the weapons being able for purchase, the reintroduction of the old UI for the Buystation, the loadouts being, I guess, more expensive depending on your perspective for what size that you run, because a lot of people like to run duos or trios. I would have to rate this a 6. This is a strong, solid 6. It's not too bad, but, not really much good either. Some other issues that have not been introduced from a lot of content creators, because again, these guys don't really play the game. They just look up online for Twitter reviews. They take one sentence and then they make their little 10-minute videos dissecting it and ingesting their feelings as to how they feel about the game, or about what a developer said or what the studio was saying. This is an actual issue. A loadout issue with the small lag for mouse and keyboard and controller players momentarily being stuck after picking up a loadout. You've actually seen this a couple times in my videos where I run to a loadout, I pick it up, and then I'm getting shot at because I literally can't move. That's because for some reason, anytime that you get your loadout, especially more so in MMK than controller, there's this point of time where you just freeze for some reason. You can't move. It's ridiculous. That also wants to lead me to another point with they fixed out, and that's been around since Modern Warfare 3 in Season 2. So yes, this bug took them literally a year plus to fix. That is absolutely ridiculous, and this is unacceptable by any means. This should have been fixed way, way, way longer. Another one is for Rebirth Island. The door is still stuck for some reason. Certain games, when you load in, the door by the tower over by, how they would say, Grandmom's house and headquarters, occasionally it'll just disappear altogether from the second story onward towards taking the ladder towards the top. And you've seen this in my games too, where there's like an invisible wall that you just can't seem to pass by if you're on the roof end trying to go in through that small tower. That too has not been fixed yet around the same time. So that's another bug that no content creator has touched about yet, which still needs to be fixed. It doesn't seem like they're going to fix these issues in the foreseeable future. However, with the Season 3 Reloaded, they claim that they fixed it, but as I have actually played it, they have not. So they lied about that as well, too. So with Ricochet AntiCheat, the anti-cheat was not adjusted at all. I literally had a cheat provider tell me that, hey, we just updated our new system. Basically, when Season 3 came out, because they send little flyers to players now. I mean, these people literally run a business and don't even care about the fact that they're walking over another game's business, which is just crazy to me. They're that bold now, because I guess they know that Call of Duty won't do shit. And as we've discovered, a lot of devs are hand-in-hand working with some of these cheap providers. So, Of course, Activision's going to want the dollar. We know that they're cheap asses. So It hasn't changed much. I think now the cheating actually stopped for a little bit. I think they might have like asked these guys to shut it down for like a week or two. But I think that they've rebranded, come back up because now they're in full force. And as I've discussed this with a lot of people who seem to be oblivious to the fact that yes, controllers also have cheats as well too. When you use third-party software like Cronus, that has been on the rise. And these asshole dumb motherfuckers who swear that turning crossplay off was going to stop that, now they're being tortured and they're starting to see the truth, which we said about this several months ago. So that's becoming all the rage in the community. Controller players are getting their asses handed to them with people using scripted cheats on third-party softwares injected into the consoles, and they're getting ran through the mud and absolutely destroyed. And, so much for that cross-play off issue that you thought was going to save you. The truth of the matter is, you hate the fact that M&K players have raw manual aim, and they beat your ass every day of the week, and you just suck. That's really what it comes down to. And so, you're turning crossplay off and you're still getting punished from people with anti-recoil scripts, with recoilless scripts, right? And, you just got to get better at the game, man, or just stop playing, if you keep running into cheaters like I myself have. I've slowed down tremendously, especially since other things in life have taken up. So the Ricochet, of course, gets a 0 because it never was good, it never will be good, and will never change anything towards the betterment of the game. So now, with the improved TTK, as I addressed with weapon balancing feature. So, the TTK actually is not really that bad at all. I don't notice anything much more different, really. It's just about the same. It's a little bit about the same, I'll say. You honestly, the improved TTK is better. You feel like you lose less gunfights. You feel like the algorithm-based matchmaking process has a harder time fucking you over because you do more damage. So it's actually awesome. This is like one of the best things about that. My only gripe with this is that they haven't truly buffed all of the guns to make them all viable. They still want to have a run-and-gun SMG style, which is what a lot of people don't like in this game, despite what you may think. And this is why the player counts went from 100K as of last week back down to 70, and they will continue to diminish because people are not allowed to play the game how they want to. People want to experiment with other weapons, play with other styles, or use skins that they got for weapons that they've purchased. So, unfortunately, this game had a little peak, but it is now going to go backwards into a sharp decline, and it will eventually die. And the sad thing about that is because of the fact that they tried to nostalgia bait and didn't fully give everybody what they were given in the early days, such as being able to run around with riot shields, all the weapons being useful and good, and you can play what you want. And then they recently are now just nerfing things to help other players, like such as the nerfing of mines, which I've covered, and a lot of these other things. Player base that quit and that came back on, they now are permanently lost forever because they were already tired of Call of Duty. They came back to give it a chance. They thought it was going to be the same Verdansk, and it's not at all. It's just a Verdansk with more run-and-gun play. They don't like that. That's not tactical FPS arena-style shooter as to what Call of Duty truly is at its roots. And this time around, they're done. They're completely done because they feel that, hey, they try to bring me back with nostalgia bait. It's nothing like what it used to be. I'm done with the game. They even changed up certain things, such as, which no one else has covered. There used to be a buy station by the train station in Verdansk, and they moved that around too. So it's not actually a one-to-one replica as they claimed it was going to be. So that was a bold-faced lie that they gave us as well too, unfortunately. I want to touch about some more of the reloaded aspects, right? I felt like the things that we just addressed were more general for Season 3. Now, for the reloaded, they have made new SR values. It's crazy to me how they don't have skill-based matchmaking in this because they will literally pair you against top 250 and iridescent players. And what they're trying to do now is increase the points per delta that you engage in combat with these individuals, which of course you're going to lose depending on your rank because these people are professional players. Makes no sense. This is the mode where skill-based matchmaking and algorithm-based matchmaking is supposed to take place in. You're supposed to group like-minded players with like-minded players. Gold players should never group with platinum, and platinum should never group with diamond. I don't care if the room is 50 players short. Let it be 50 players short, but let them all be of the same skilled base. That is why it's called that. So it's just amazing to me how they never apply skill-based matchmaking to when it needs to actually be applied, but then they apply it towards a casual experience for people who don't want to be playing as if they're in a professional tournament. It's ridiculous. Another very corny introduction feature is now there is, for all snipers and marksman rifles, 2 headshot minimum mandatory. Ridiculous. This is ranked gameplay. This is a sniper rifle. Yeah, I just don't understand this. You can't make this shit up. I mean, why would you do that? You know what I mean? Like, this is just nonsense. Activision and Treyarch have lost their mind. You know, this is just more proof that Treyarch was always the worst studio. They just continuously, prove why every single fucking day. Should always be 2 headshot kill, one shot to the head, with a sniper rifle. I mean, it's 380 plus damage with the HDR. So now I have to shoot somebody twice in the head with the most powerful weapon on the roster. And mind you, I think what the health value is like 250 or 300 or something. So you're robbing people of kills now in ranked gameplay. So if someone's going against a cheater, then a cheater now automatically has basically, a get out of jail free card, an immunity card. You can't make this up, man. Introduced a massive resurgence, 120 players with, I guess, a resurgence style on Verdansk. Not sure how that's going to go. High trip resurgence. The map is also on Verdansk. Quads 120 players with more retarded weed-themed things. Great. I guess the whole idea is to, just get the already brain rot community to, encourage your, encourage the children to go look out to the local drug dealer, grab some weed, and, stay and play games all day. Awesome, cool, awesome Call of Duty. Really making winners here. I stated they basically nerfed some of the mines. They gave a reduction to the detonation delay with the blast trap, and then the inner explosion for the spring mine has also been reduced. Not understanding why this is. They want to give people more time to recover. Dude, fuck the other people. The whole point is to lay a mine to blow them up. I'm not here to be their friend. I'm here to destroy them before they destroy me. It's just like, if you guys at Activision and Treyarch are listening and you're doing shit like this, what's the point of even juicing the game? Just take every gun but SMGs and ARs at this point, because there's no point. It'll reduce data. You won't have any complaints. You have the game the way you want to. You're nerfing things that don't need to be nerfed. Mental gas no longer has a tick, so that's also dumb. I don't know why, because it's like toxic gas that kills you. So that's it no longer deals tick damage, even though it was like so minuscule you didn't even notice. Stim shots, they've been reduced from 15 to 8% for the speed increase. I know a lot of the YY demons are pissed off, and thank God, because that's the only thing I will say I will give them credit for. It was only supposed to give them a health boost. I don't know where the speed shit came into play, and, that's awesome. So now we're going to see less of that shit in play, at least for the speed, even though, a lot of people still have it and have that extra health in mid-game fights. So, yeah, I think it'll still be around. The speed increase is diluted, but that combined with other perks like Resolute, it'll probably balance out just as fine. So, who knows? Who cares? That also received an nerf are the Survivor perk. Very popular perk. They even said that themselves. They increased that by 1 second delay. Gee, thanks Activision, aka Fun Police. You want to make the game worse for us. You literally say Survivor continues to be a highly selected perk, and it maintains its strength while improving balance across the ecosystem. It's a highly selected perk. People like it. Why would you nerf it? Especially since it's kind of like fucking useless unless you're not in combat. I mean, I just don't get that. So, hey, another nerf, another good thing, shot down. Thing with the favoring of operators, where you can select different operators and have them in kind of like a random playlist pool for your games, and when you go in there, which one you want to select. So that's actually a pretty cool feature. That should have been introduced like 3 games ago, but okay. I will say the damage closeout buyout station menu. Now, that's a wonderful thing. You know, that should honestly almost be automatic, because who's going to want to sit there while they're being shot at anyways? I think that was a great idea. That was a good introduction for the UI. That's a great quality of life fix. They brought that in. There is a plus. They added a loadout marker icon and kill feed camera. All that shit is nonsense or redundant, because, you know, if someone's cheating, you know what I mean? Still not going to do anything. We'd just rather have them banned from the game. So who cares on how we were killed? We want them gone if we were, you know, beamed across the fucking map with the KSV, you know, and all headshots with no scope on. Let's be serious here. Last but not least, again, the TTK. So I like the TTK, like I was saying before I got sidetracked. So I'm not understanding the problem here. You have a lot of these fake pros claim that, oh, you know, the TTK sucks now, which doesn't make any sense to me. And it's like, if the weapon damage values have been increased, isn't that a bonus for you? Because you're killing noobs faster. Correct me if I'm wrong? You know, so it just goes to show that, you know, now that everyone's on a proper playing field, and most of the guns are adequate for performance, and you don't have to run around and only be viable if you have a meta weapon. You know what I'm saying? That they're getting their asses kicked. So a lot of these streamers are getting pissed off because they really truthfully suck. Their bot lobbies are actually fighting back, and they're getting caught with their pants down. You know, because they never really were that good. You know what I mean? We know the truth. They get the VPN, they go to Thailand with the servers that their friends set up, and they're, you know, basically beating up on players, you know, who just have dead systems running for their views and contents to get their 80 kill drops for Verdansk. We know the truth. TTK is awesome for everybody. Any real pro, I have yet to hear them complain about that, which is awesome. It works for everybody. The TTK is fine. And last but not least, I want to give a shout out to Nero Cinema. I can't thank this guy enough for his coverage on Call of Duty. I mean, he was like only the other person on here out of all the dumb asses who actually called this for what it is, and this is a FPS style arena shooter. Every content creator keeps calling this an arcade shooter, and it just goes to show the further brain rot in the community. You know what I'm saying? So much shout out to Nero for his awesome coverage. I love the way that he covers the game. I love the way that, you know, he curates his videos. I mean, he's just a really cool, awesome guy, very knowledgeable about his games, and, you know, that just left a very big impression to me to, you know, hear someone actually label this game for what it properly is, because it literally takes 30 seconds to do a Wikipedia search. You can see that what an arcade shooter really is, as I've been saying for the past year now, and Call of Duty is not a fucking arcade shooter, you know. So much shout out to Nero for calling this what it is. It is an arena shooter, you know. And last but not least, to the rating for this. So as everything is rated here with the kill streaks, the free skins, the battle royales, the weapon balancing, and the movement, I rate this overall a 5 out of 10. It's playable, but it's barely fun. Between too many bugs and not enough of the actual changes that we really have been asking for as a community, such as a working kernel level anti-cheat, allowing us different playstyles such as melee, you know, ride, shield, shotgun, close quarter, sniper, marksman rifle. You know, more than half of the weapons are actually not even useful in this game, and even the fact that a lot of us paid good money for a lot of these operators packs and skin bundles and weapon bundles that we can't even use because they're useless in combat is also frustrating as well too. So they haven't really actually balanced the weapons at all whatsoever, which sucks, and have eliminated certain playstyles, which makes the game unfun for a massive majority of the player base. Being slightly tweaked more towards original Call of Duty playstyle, the improved TTK, however, the nerfing of the kill streaks, the quality of life for certain of these things, such as the buy box station features, such as the weapon purchase being removed, and the recycling of some of these guns, such as the Q and the Grau, which we already have, which is not impressive. I rate this an even score, about a 5 out of 10. It's not too bad. It's not horrible. There's some improvements, but there's a lot of setback. It's perfectly rated middle in the score from us at Mercenary Assassins Gaming. We hope you enjoyed this thorough, in-depth review from a player's perspective, from people who actually play the game and have given you some insights as to some issues which a lot of content creators that cover the game haven't actually experienced because they don't play the game. So you can be able to dictate if you would want to continue playing this title, how you would like it, or issues that you face if you decide to move forward. And as always, we are up and we are out of here. Till the next time, enjoy the video, like and subscribe please if you do. Take care of yourself.